Good morning everyone and welcome back to the garage. Today I want to make a phone mount for my Triumph. So here it is. I made a quick sketch of what I want to get. That's 1:1 scale. Bit bulky, but we'll see how it looks when it's all made up. And these are my two parts. And this is a bit of scrap aluminium a company threw away and allowed me to have it. So yeah, this area here should be enough for what I need. Let's get started. So here's a 3D printed model I've made just to check how well it fits and if it works, and I've used this for a couple of days until the threads pulled out, and it works. It seems to be what I need, so I'm quite happy with that. So that means I can go on and make the proper thing out of aluminium. So I'm just marking the centers of my parts on my piece of aluminium just to give me a starting point and an idea of how much material I need for each of them. And for my second part, I'm trying to use the straight edge of my aluminium as the final edge of the part, just so it gives me less work to do. That won't work, as you'll see later in the video, but still, that's why I'm trying to make one of the centers offset with the compass. And now that I've got my parts roughly marked out, I'm just spot drilling the centers of the holes, including the two smaller M5s in the first piece. And next I'll go on to drilling them. Now I'm drilling all the holes to 4.2 millimeters because some of them will need tapping M5, but the two centers of my parts will need gradually drilling up to 10 millimeters because I'll use that to align the part while I'm milling it. It's quite satisfying to watch, isn't it? Now I'm just aligning the aluminium piece on my table and then clocking the hole to make sure I'm in the center of the part. And apologies for the sound you're hearing, that's the cooling system for the spindle motor. Now I'm just milling a slot in the center of my part, as shown on the drawing. That's the start for my two 45-degree angled faces. And once that's done, I'm also going to cut the part off straight on the mill, because I'm going to use that face to clamp it in my vise. And here we go, I've given myself a dimension from the edge of the groove to the 45-degree face, and I'm ready to cut the first side. I've just clamped the part in my vise at 45 degrees, because I don't have a fancy vise to angle it. And yeah, I'm just going to cut both faces in the same way. And now, while the part is still square and I can grip it in the vise, I'm going to tap the two M5 holes. And now you can see what the 10mm hole in the center is really for, to be able to mill the part round. Now ideally I'd do this in a turntable, but I don't have one and I don't really want to buy one, because at some point in the future I do want to convert this little mill into a CNC. And here we have it, the first part nearly finished. I just need to grab a little file and break all the edges. Now the second part needs thinning down as the material is too thick for what I want, and I start that by milling a groove around the circular bit to the required depth, and then I will start thinning everything down. And once I've got my part to the 2 required thicknesses, I'm just going to mill the corners on the back end to blend it all in and have a nice circular surface. And it's all going very well so far, isn't it? It's just a fraction of a second where my grip wasn't tight enough and this happened. I'm not very happy that I've broken the cutter, but I'm even more upset because I've digged into the part there, and that was supposed to be my final edge on one side of the part. But anyway, I'll have to rethink it now. Instead of having 2 sides that sort of blend in the big and the small radius, I'm just going to make 2 parallel sides going from the small radius. Now I've clocked the center of my part again, and with the spot drill I'm just lining the part up to make sure I've got the 2 centers aligned on one axis. And I'm just going to start milling the extra material off. And here I've just added a stop on my table to prevent me from going too far and digging into the part, and now I'm just rotating the part around the center bolt to extend the radius to my parallel bit. And the same on the other side. Now, using the dimensions on the drawing, I'm just drilling 4 holes that correspond to the ends of my 2 slots. Now, using the same method as before, but with 2 stops this time, I go ahead and mill the 2 slots. And once that's done, I can take the bolt out from the center and mill the extra material left. And using a similar method as before, I'm rounding up the small end of my part. And now I'm just blending in a small imperfection I had in the part. And with a small file, I break all the sharp edges. Tap the last M5 hole. Deburr it. And with a brass wire brush, just take all the shine and the milling marks off the part and just give it a more uniform look. And here you can clearly see I've made a mistake. My bottom part is quite a bit bigger in diameter than my top part, which is all my fault. I should have measured before I took it off the table, but I never did. I just assume I've got it right, and clearly I haven't, so I'll have to address this. So here are all the bits. You can see they're a bit dirty, especially on the orange handle. You can see it's, well, it's seen some use. I've used it quite a bit after I've made it, because I needed it, and I just didn't have time to finish the video. But here are the bits. So these are the same size now, which is nice. I was actually gonna paint this. I was gonna end this video by painting these two bits, but I don't know. I'm not happy with the way they are now. Might need an extra polish or something. But I don't think I want them black either. So anyway, we'll see. I'll leave them as they are for now and maybe make a decision later. And this is what it looks like on the bike. This Ultimate add-ons mount, which it's alright, it works. At some point I would like to upgrade to quad lock. But anyway, it's good. I can just turn it 90 degrees to have my phone sideways. So I've got my tank bag coming up here somewhere. Got my phone here, which I can see with GPS and everything. And I can see the clocks, but it does cover my idiot lights. So, well, not perfect, but it works. And when I don't have the tank bag on, I can just turn this back 90 degrees. And yeah, just use it that way, which I prefer, to be honest, on a phone anyway. And to adjust it, I just loosen the knob. Yeah, move it around, adjust the position. So yeah, it works pretty well. For some reason the slots don't always stay aligned, so having an extra location would have been nicer, or having 3 slots, but it works well enough. Yeah, and I just tighten it, and then I can put the lever wherever I want it, out of the way. And there it is. And that's it for this video. Hope you found it useful, or maybe just entertaining at least. And maybe consider subscribing. Thanks for watching, and see you again next time.